I'm currently 66 hours and 11 minutes fasted, and I have now completed my 7th 65-hour fast for the month of April. On April 1st, I weighed in at 163.4 pounds, and this morning, April 21st, I weighed in at 145.4 pounds, the lowest since February 14th, over 2 months ago on the day I left for a month-long vacation. That's an 18-pound drop in 21 days, including some heavy refeeds of beer and pizza and other carby snacks, but also cleaner refeeds like the strict carnivore protocol that I'm currently on for the last 6 days. It's where I've given up anything with caffeine, anything processed, anything artificial. So with that being said, here's what I ate after completing my last 65+ hour fast. Started off with this huge plate of steak seasoned with salt and cooked in beef tallow. 5 sunny side up eggs, also seasoned with salt and cooked in beef tallow as well, for a total of 1,890 calories and 152 grams of protein. I finished all of this in 15 minutes, my shortest ever refeed yet. Now, was it physically satiating? Yeah, for the most part. To be honest though, I got sick of eating steak and eggs by the end of the refeed. But on the plus side, it did give me fullness. Now, was it mentally satiating? Not at all. After the refeed, I really had to push through from going to the fridge or the cabinet and grabbing something sweet. In all honesty, I really would have loved this meal with white rice coupled with vegetables, maybe a fruit at the end of it. But it's taught me that 1, I can completely give up caffeine and actually live my life without it. And 2, I can hold back my calories now. I can limit my calories without triggering it for me to binge. That's huge for me. Listen, the steak and eggs were good. They were absolutely amazing. And maybe the best way that I can put this is they were so amazing because I had given up on cold brew and given up on the occasional diet, whatever that I drink. So going through a 65+ hour fast and having nothing but water, no electrolytes, and having steak, ribeye steak, and eggs, lovely. I loved it. I cooked about 1.5 pounds of ribeye steak and half a dozen sunny side up eggs. Towards the end of it, I was getting food fatigue. If you're not familiar with what food fatigue is, it's pretty much when you get sick of eating the same kinds of food. And that happens to me pretty quickly. But I mostly ate all of what I showed you there. The only thing that I left was 1 sunny side up egg and maybe about this much left of the ribeye steak. And when it was all said and done, I was like, oh, I guess I should hit my timer. So I pulled the timer up. It was a little over 15 minutes, but honestly, it was less than that because when I finished, I took the plates, I brought them to the sink, and then I was like, I can't have anything else. It's not that I wasn't hungry because I could have still eaten, but I just didn't want to eat any more steak and eggs. And as much as I would have loved a protein bar or an apple or even a Diet Coke, I couldn't do any of that. So I said, might as well hit the timer. And yes, it was physically satiating in terms of I was full. I was good. I didn't have to eat anymore. These are moments that I have even before doing carnivore. There are moments where I'm like, I should scale back. I could stop now if I want to, but I usually don't because I have a variety of foods that I could eat. But mentally, the mental satiety of how I felt, it wasn't there. It really wasn't. What I ended up doing after I finished the refeed, I grabbed some water, I sat on the couch, I turned on YouTube, and then I think over 2 hours, I literally watched people eat sweet food. I watched someone eat a ton of donuts, a ton of ice cream, or they were more like blizzards that I watched. I just watched people eat sweet foods because that was what was able to help me, at least give me that mental satiety. When I finally went to sleep and I got up and I went for my walk and I lifted weights, I think it was about 16+ hours in, I was fine. All of those feelings of wishing I had something sweet, wishing I could have had a diet, whatever, it all went away. And it made me think, okay, I could probably do this again. And well, here we are today, 65+ hours later, doing strict carnivore, day 6 of what I'm doing. And I'm like, all right, we can do another round of this. But is it something that I can do sustainably for the long term? Absolutely not. But it's shown me 76 weeks later into this journey that I can continue to do hard things. And if anything, this is an additional tool that I now have for my tool belt. But to double down, tonight when I end my 65+ hour fast, I'm doing another round of strict carnivore. And after tonight's refeed, I'm gonna go completely without caffeine again, completely without anything artificial, so no cold brew, No Diet Coke, no Coke Zero. My hope is it'll push the scale down even further, because after tonight, I'll have 3 more rounds of 65s to do for the month of April, and my hope is that I will land in the 130s by April 30th. So I want to address a comment that somebody left on my live stream yesterday. First time I really think Jerome is fooling himself, and I don't know if he's aware of that. What am I fooling myself of exactly? I know I'm doing carnivore. Is it the part that I'm eating meat and eggs? Is that the part where I'm fooling myself because I'm doing something that's very restrictive? Because I'm completely aware of that. Am I fooling myself by doing something where I'm not able to eat the other foods that I typically eat? Because I'm also completely aware of that. I know this is a restrictive diet. I'm completely aware of that. As soon as he feeds back to normal food, which is the only sustainable way of eating at a life scale, he will gain his weight back. Haven't I been eating normal food lately? Isn't that what I typically eat on my refeeds? I have looked at my refeeds. They're very heavy in vegetables and fiber and fruit and protein. And yeah, I eat the occasional processed foods every now and then, but my weight has relatively stayed the same outside of going on vacation and eating back-to-back days. So I'm not exactly sure where you're going with this, especially that I've been doing this for 533 days now, have managed to keep the weight off since that time. So I really don't see the point of this foolish experiment, especially coming from such an experienced faster as him. Okay, let me break that down. Simply, I'll break it down for you. This foolish experiment. Me doing carnivore is me trying something different. Me doing carnivore is 1, getting rid of caffeine, getting rid of artificial sweeteners, getting rid of processed foods altogether. This foolish experiment is me testing myself, seeing if I can do something hard, doing something challenging. But it also means that this is, like you said, an experiment, not something that I will do forever. But can I learn from doing something like this? And one of the things that it's taught me recently is, yeah, I can actually not drink caffeine and live a normal life and function normally. This is something that I wasn't sure I would be able to do without feeling triggered and causing me to overeat, causing me to binge, which honestly, the bigger part of this, doing carnivore, eating at a very restrictive type of way, the hard thing about what I do, what has been the hardest thing for me ever since I've started trying to lose weight is feeling restricted. One of the things that I don't like to do is to feel restricted, but I also understand that I eventually have to fix my diet. I have to clean that up. And one of the things that I have just learned about doing a refeed like this is, yeah, after eating just steak and eggs, it sucks. Mentally, it didn't give me the satiety that I really wanted, but I also know that if I'm only doing this temporarily as a way to lean out, I can absolutely cut calories, which I have done now, to cut processed foods, which I have done now, and it doesn't cause me to binge or overeat like it has in the past. That for me is a breakthrough. That is something that I didn't think I would ever be able to do in my life. Here we are now, and I'm able to do that. I wouldn't have learned that unless I had gone through what I'm going through right now. And this is the thing that some people do not understand about my journey. Why do I fast 90 hours? Why do I eat 6,000 calories? Because that's what worked for me. That's what got me to reverse my type 2 diabetes. That's what got me to reverse my high blood pressure. That's what got me to restore my testosterone. That's what gave me my life back by doing what worked for me. I didn't even know about 90-hour fasts. I had to figure that out on my own. Okay, fast for as long as you can. Eat whatever you want because that will give you satiety. That is what's gonna make me feel good. And then figure out how to manipulate the fasting times with the refeed. And I've done that. I've gotten to the point now where I don't even have to do 90-hour fasts because I have at least worked on the diet to do 65s, right? And now that I'm here doing 65-hour fasts, sure, I could do them for the rest of my life. I could continue eating 6,000 calories for the rest of my life. Maybe not when I'm in my 60s, maybe not when I'm in my 70s, But this is why I am trying to continue working on my diet, because I don't want to eat 6,000 calories forever. Even though that sounds nice, I would love to stop fasting for 65 hours on end. I would love to eat every other day, more so than doing 65s if possible. How am I going to get there? By working on my diet, by figuring that part out. I'm already good at fasting. As far as exercise goes, I feel like I'm pretty much not at an optimal level, but I'm doing as much as I can exercise-wise. What's left? The diet. It's been 533 days, and the one thing that I have constantly pushed to the side is, Jerome, maybe you should stop drinking diet whatever every now and then. Maybe you should give up caffeine and see what that's like. Maybe you should eat this certain way. Maybe you should cut back calories. And this is exactly what I'm doing right now. I am testing myself. I am figuring that part out. That is something that maybe you don't understand, but this is why you have to do what works for you while I'm doing what works for me. The way I see this is Carnivore has gotten me to this place of, okay, I can actually give myself some self-control in eating, in cutting my refeed super short, in cutting my calories. And then I was like, you know what would make this carnivore diet even better is if I added vegetables to this, if I added fruits to this, and if I could figure that balance out, which I know I will eventually, then I can play this game of now I can fit a 42-hour fast in here. If I manipulate the diet this way, oh, did I overeat this day? Then I'll throw a 65 in. Do you understand? I'm figuring my journey out. That's exactly what I'm doing right now, is figuring my journey out. So this foolish experiment is me figuring my fucking journey out. That's why I put this on public, right? This is why I want to share my experience so other people understand, hey, there are tools you can use. Just like fasting. Fasting is only a tool. It doesn't define me. Carnivore doesn't define me. If I ever do fruitarian, that doesn't define me, right? I'm doing what I can try to do to see how it works for me, how it makes me feel. I'm being very honest when I say, yeah, it made me full, but mentally it sucked. It's not something I want to do forever. Now, how's your accountability going so far for the month of April? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see if you've made it 3 weeks in. Whether it's good or bad, my hope for you is that you continue to show up, that you continue to be consistent in what you're doing. And if you're looking for additional help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, you can go to finallyfasting.com for one-on-one coaching with me. Hopefully you're all doing well and hanging in there for the month of April. I'll see you in the next one.